Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Monday, the 22nd of August. Comps is over, and had 7 pretty good days, really. We're now into a week of slightly changeable weather. You can see it all lining up out to the west. This is the overnight, midnight chart. Talking about this yesterday at the briefing about we could see the low pressure and the fronts heading our way. Well, they're getting a bit closer here, and it'll be about timing this week as to how much flying we get. There will be good spells in between the frontal systems, but that's rolling it forward 12 hours, and we're heading the fronts coming across us. I think the timing on this is a little bit actually behind what's going on. What might be difficult to predict is exactly the position of these frontal systems coming through, because it's driven by the jet stream. And it could roll down the channel, could come across us, centre of the country, probably be all right, certainly for today. But as I say, it's frontal, but you can see there's quite wide spacing on the isobar, so it's not going to be windy. Just rain moving across us, and I'll show you that in a minute, both in the actual rainfall radar and the predicted. So what are the TAFs saying? Well, you'd expect they're reflecting what you see on the chart. So 164 knots. Yeah, most places are giving light southerly. I think that's a little bit more southwesterly in some places. And few at 4,500 feet to start off with. But tempo as the morning goes on, 9,000 meters rain, showers and rain broken at 1,200, and then a tempo in the afternoon. That's probably when the front's going through, broken at 900. So a bit of flying hopefully before the rain goes through, and then we should be able to start flying again. Upper winds, more in the southwesterly region, to be honest. You can see the upper winds 50-55 knots and a bit stronger down to the south of us. So that's driving the weather systems through fairly quickly. But winds at flying heights 230, 240, 15 knots, maybe a little bit more. SatPic shows clear over Lasham at the moment, beginning to cloud over. This is the band of rain here that's pepping itself up to go across us at some point. I think late morning, lunchtime, and then whatever we get will be behind this frontal system. So you can see the rainfall radar. That's it, whizzing across Cornwall at the moment. I'd say that's probably 4 hours away, maybe 5. So going through lunchtime, and hopefully if it's clear behind this, get some flying this afternoon. But it looks quite intense, mind you. Yesterday we had the same, where it looked quite intense in the West Country. By the time it got to us, just fizzled out, turned into nothing. So that might be the case today, that it weakens as it goes across us. Temperature wise, certainly not going to feel as warm as yesterday, which got to sort of 23 degrees. I think 19s, 20s today, about right, but still pleasant for August. And dew points, they're quite high at the moment, and certainly when the rain goes through, they will be fairly high. So not really a relevant factor in terms of soaring today, which I've not really looked at. And the reason I've not really looked at it because the ascents just so quite soggy air all the way up to sort of 15,000 feet. This is 1 o'clock, and that's 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening. So just so in cloud from sort of 2,000 feet upwards. But once that rain goes through, I think this might be a little bit behind what's going on as well. Once the rain goes through, you might find it clears up. So top meteo certainly suggesting there's the rain for their prediction for sort of 9 o'clock. I think this is much further south. It's the bit that's over here, and I think it's going to run through here and hopefully fizzle out and be through us probably by 2-3 o'clock. So fingers crossed we might get something for the afternoon as it clears up. I don't think it's going to linger like it's showing there. It's always difficult with predictions. This is done off GFS data. Often what you see out the window is slightly different. So keep an eye on the sat pit, rainfall radar, flying a bit in the morning, rain goes through, and hopefully we get some flying again in the afternoon. With, as I say, light southerly, southwesterly winds, so probably the setup will be 2-3. I don't think the winds can be strong enough to justify going on the short runway 16. 2-3 seems a favourite with the winch offset to the south. Airspace wise, local to Lasham, very little going on around us, really quite quiet, and down to the south. A bit more out to the west, but nothing of any real relevance. 25 is just high intensity radio transmissions inside the soldier plane danger area, and out towards Pusey, Devizes and around there. There's a couple of things there. The junior nationals are on. That's the large circle out of Keble, and there's a no overfly. 27 and 28 is just paragliding. And a bit further afield, there's a competition at Gransden there, and also one at Husbos. But apart from that, really quiet in terms of airspace. Not quite so in terms of jet movements. So in theory, they should have had an A321, which should be in by now. It was coming from Leipzig. It's forecast to land at Lasham at about 8:50 local, so fingers crossed that's already in. And then there's provisionally a departure of a 737 at 10 o'clock, and that's all we've in theory got today. So fingers crossed they'll go and you'll be able to set up on 2-3. Won't be there. Barry Elliott will be running the field today. Have fun, folks.